This is Whipr. After raising $3.5 million on Kickstarter, this is quite possibly one of the most early funded pieces of fitness equipment ever. It's also what I would say one of the most intricately designed pieces of equipment ever, but does that mean it's good? Let's find out. Hey guys, this is Coop from Garage Gym Reviews. And today we are reviewing a product that I've been watching literally for years. This is Whipr. Whipr is designed to be an all-in-one ergometer. What I mean by that is it's designed to do what a lot of Concept 2 products do, but all in one unit. And we've got the entire thing. So what I mean by that is the base unit along with all the accessories. You may be looking at this little piece and wondering, what the freak does it do? I will show you everything this does. And so if you're into that sort of thing and would like to see more, make sure you subscribe. So this is the base unit, and the base unit is designed to essentially be the flywheels or the fan wheels that you would see on other ergs. So a Concept 2, for instance, they pretty much all have that same circular fan pattern that's on there, and then it's attached to different pieces like their row erg, or what's formerly known as the Concept 2 Model D, as well as their Skierg. That's what this is. It was designed to be portable, and it was designed to be cheaper, and I think they've done both of those. But this base unit is really designed to go along with all of their other pieces. But I first want to talk about just like the intricate design. This thing is so complicated. What I mean by complicated is there are so many different parts, and you'll see this on the accessories. I think they've simplified it as much as possible, but very similar to something like a multifunction printer. There's just a lot going on. There's just so many touch points. This feels like a finished product. It also feels like a toy somewhat, and I'll talk about that more in a moment. But let me show you it first off on the rower. This is the row accessory. It's designed to replace, like a Concept 2 rower. This piece is obviously the Whipr, the resistance that happens. This connects to all the different pieces. So this entire thing can come apart, collapse, go into a duffel bag or something like that, and it can all be done toolless. So it has these tri-handle locking mechanisms that you can just tighten all over. And the way that this works is this go on the front. And again, talking about all the different design elements, like there's just so many different connection points that's just like, man, they just had to take so much thought. So this goes in here, locks in right there. There's another one on this side. And now this is fully locked in. And as you can see, like, there's things falling off. There's a lot of pieces, and there's just a lot of moving parts. And anytime there's moving parts on something that you're going to be putting all of your energy into, there may be some durability issues. I'll talk about that. In fact, on the screen, you can select the type of workout you're doing. So you can select whether it's rowing, skiing, paddleboard, those sorts of things. And then there's an adjustment knob for the resistance that's similar kind of to what you'd find on like a row erg, which is the damper, except this is increasing the resistance. So it goes from 0 to 10, and supposedly at 10, it's supposed to be equal to the resistance you would find on a Concept 2 Model D. I will say in use, it does not feel like the same resistance. So then I strap in just like I would on any other rower. These straps, again, there's Velcro, they move a lot. They're just, some of the fit and finish on this isn't perfect, but you're able to strap in and then row. Similar to what you'd find on a rower in just about any gym. I'll talk about some of the cons altogether here after I show you the other movements. I'm now gonna show you what it looks like and how to put it together in a ski platform. Now we will turn this into essentially a ski erg. And so you need a door attachment for this. This part goes on top, it wraps around the door. As you can hear, just listen to this. It's painted to look like metal, but I assure you this is not metal, and it's very solid. This comes in here, this then goes under the door. You pump this bad boy up, and this is what secures it underneath the door. That thing is solid, locked in. Okay, and now it is in the ski function. These cords are tiny. I looked online, and every instructional video I see, the cords are much longer. I'm guessing maybe because this was an early version or something, they've extended these. In this current mode, you really can't use it for a ski erg because you're not able to follow through on your stroke, so it's basically here. If I wanted to, I could go one arm and then the other arm. That's not the only thing you can use it for. If you actually detach this piece, deflate it, bring this around, inflate again, and then take this, sport mode, and you can now use it to simulate an erg for stand-up paddleboarding, which, by the way, there is no, at least that I know of, this is really the only one that can do this sort of thing. You could simulate this maybe a little bit on a Concept 2 rower. The shining use of this, in my opinion, is this stand-up paddleboard mode. This feels very similar to what I would feel on the water, and it's just very intuitive and easy to use. Okay, let's take it back, and now I'll tell you what I think. Okay, I've shown you how to use it and how it was designed, what Whipr wanted to accomplish with it. So I'm gonna throw out, this is what I like about it. Number one, and I think this is the most obvious, it's a multi-unit. That can be a good thing, and I think that is a pro, in that you can take this and use it on a bunch of different platforms. And not only can you just use it on these, but you can use it for a lot of different things because you can attach handles to it. They actually have swim paddle handles you can use for it. You can use it on the rower like a canoe. You could also use it for maybe hamstring curls, leg extensions, you know, hip flexor exercises, different things like that. So I love that it can do that, and I love that it does it at a good price point. If I compared both of the Concept 2 units, the ones that are most popular, this is less than half and can be significantly less than half if you use some of their discounts and you look for sales. The other thing is this is portable. Rowers and skiergs are not portable. This is. I personally would not want to tell my buddies, hey, meet me at the park and let's take Whipr along with this unit, put it in a duffel bag. It'd just be like a lot happening. But if you are traveling, say you're going on a road trip and you want to bring some of these, you could. I think it would be fine to just bring this and maybe like that stand-up paddleboard handle that collapses, by the way. Like it's just, all of this is designed to just collapse and be super user-friendly and small. I think that's actually a viable option, and it could work for people that are traveling a lot. The other thing is it does what it says it's going to do, which means it can use on all the different multi-platforms and can improve your cardio training. It can connect to different apps like Strava and just other popular ones that are out there, including some VR connections. It's not designed to just work on Whipr's unit, so if you want to connect it to their app, it can, but it can also connect to other apps that are out there. And then lastly, the place that I think it really shines is for the SUP training. If I was gonna use this full time, what I would use it for is for SUP training. I actually really like it with the handle on there. It simulates something that I really can't do another way. I love that it does that. But now let me get into the things that I don't like. Number one is based on the First Pro. It's a multi-unit. There's things that can go wrong. They don't always do the thing as good as the standalone unit, and this is definitely the case. Although this is marketed as a complete replacement for like a Concept 2 rower, if you're doing a lot of rowing, I don't think this cuts it. I think it can work. I think if you're somebody that likes the different parts and the aspects and likes putting it in different things, it can work, but man, like this row function, just some things about it that feel off. Like the resistance isn't quite there. The track that it sits on, there's a seam in the middle, and every time your seat goes over it, it makes this bump and it just feels like jarring. It's aluminum. Yes, it's really thought out and designed well, but it just doesn't have the same feeling, fit and finish, and experience of a rower that's just simple. I can jump on it. I know it's gonna just work forever and just go all out. This thing feels, and this is another con, it does feel kind of like a toy. There's so much plastic and there's so many parts and there's things to lose, things that can break, like magnets falling off. There's just a lot going on, which I think is cool, and you have to have that to have all these different parts. But if you're comparing this to a Concept 2 rower or Skierg, have the space and have the money, I would definitely select those over this one. The other thing on this that I wish it was closer to the competitors that are out there is the resistance isn't quite the same. It's just a lighter resistance. I know they say that the resistance is equal. At least on my unit, the resistance is not equal. It's much less. And so on the Skierg portion, on the rower portion, it doesn't have the same connection from the start. It also just doesn't have the same resistance. It's lighter. I think that's fine. You can still use it even though the resistance is lighter. It's just I'm used to, and most people that row are used to, what they find on a Concept 2 or a Hydro or some of those others that are out there, and this does not have the same resistance. And then lastly, this one's kind of minor because other competitors also make noise, but this thing has just like this aggravating noise to me. It's just like this rough sounding, I don't know, there's just something about it where it just doesn't sound as good as like the air whooshing on a rower or a Hydro where it's just like very silent. This one just makes a lot of extra noise. So all of this said, would I recommend this? Well, Yeah, for a certain person. If you're on a budget, if you like to travel, you don't have a lot of space, and you know that you would use the functionality of placing this on different things, I would suggest it. Or if you just want something that's just made for like SUP training, I think this is honestly great for that, and that's how I will use it. Now, if you're somebody who's looking and comparing these to a Concept 2 rower, Skierg, and you're like, man, these seem very similar, they work the same, this one can do a lot more, that's not true. If you even have a thought that you don't want to move this around, like just go with the standalone units. Just get one of them, save over time, and get the other one. I do want to point out though that I think this is very cool. Like sometimes I'll poo-poo on some of these cheaper products. Like this one's pretty cool. And so I expect to see a lot of these. Not a ton in like these full fleshed out home gyms, but people that have smaller home gyms and do a lot of cardio, I could see it being of use. Now, if you are somebody who's going to use this for portability, I do think you should compare it to some other training modalities that are out there. Obviously, you could just like take TRX and use your body weight, but if you're looking for something that has some resistance, one option is Ancore. Ancore is designed a little bit more for strength training, has higher resistance. You can use it in this fashion, but it doesn't implement into like rowers and things like that. Now, there is another piece of training equipment that I often take when I'm traveling, and that is Max Pro. Max Pro uses only concentric resistance, so only the like pulling away portion. It doesn't have the eccentric. This has resistance on both sides, so it's pulling in and pulling out. I think it depends on the type of training you're doing. Honestly, that could be like two cool things you could take. You have your cardio piece, although I think for a lot of people, jump rope could be very effective and much smaller and cheaper. Or you could also take Max Pro with it, and then you have your strength training component, and then you could also use this on the conditioning side. I don't really feel like they're a necessary replacement for one another because they are very different and they have different goals, but I do think that those are two pieces that are very compact and that hit both the cardio and the strength training piece and could just all be in one little bag. Okay. There's my honest take on Whipr. What do you think about it? Let me know in the comments. Have you used it? Have you seen any of the Kickstarter campaign? Have you talked to anybody that's used it? What do you think about it in comparison to the standalone units? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure you smash that like button. This is Coop from Garage Reviews, and we will see you next time.